Feng Tiandu's expression changed slightly upon seeing his shield being encased in ice, and he immediately made a hand seal, upon which black light began to surge through his eyes. Radiant black light also erupted out of his body to stain the golden cage at an even faster rate, and the 7 golden nails were also being forced out of his body faster than before.
Hurry! Palace Master Xiao!
We won't be able to restrain him for much longer, Xianxia urged as he released 2 bursts of black light out of his hands into the golden chain that he was holding. At this point, his face was bright red and a sheen of sweat had appeared on his forehead. His hands were also trembling slightly, clearly indicating that he was already going all out, but it was still to no avail, and the same applied to the other 3 golden immortals as well. Feng Tiandu was far more powerful than all of them had anticipated. A hint of hesitation flashed through Xiao Jinhan's eyes, but he couldn't just pass up such a prime opportunity to strike down Feng Tiandu. With that in mind, a fierce look appeared in his eyes as he advanced forward, leaving a flurry of snowflakes in his wake. At the same time, he pierced his sword through the air 4 times in rapid succession, unleashing 4 streaks of white qi that hurtled directly toward Feng Tiandu like 4 white snakes. However, right at this moment, a burst of spatial fluctuations erupted behind Xianxia, and an inky black hand appeared out of thin air. Faint black mist was emanating from the hand as it crashed down toward the top of Xiao Jinhan's head like lightning. Xiao Jinhan was greatly startled by this unexpected turn of events, and radiant white light emerged over his body as he frantically sprang to the side. However, his attention had been entirely focused on Feng Tiandu, so he reacted a fraction of a second too late, and he was unable to completely avoid the black hand. The hand crashed down onto his shoulder with a bone-splitting crack, and Xiao Jinhan stumbled slightly before steadying himself again not far away. However, his left shoulder was clearly mangled, and a black palm print had appeared on his back, giving off a putrid odour. The robes on his also quickly withered away as if they were being eroded, while the blackened part of his skin was rapidly necrosing amid a sinister hissing sound, and the rot was quickly spreading. Xiao Jinhan inhaled briefly as he made a hand seal, and white light flashed over his body as all of the swirling snowflakes around him instantly revolved to form a white tornado that converged toward the wound. In the blink of an eye, a layer of white frost took shape over the black palm print, preventing the rot from spreading any further. At the same time, he spun around like lightning to see who it was that had attacked him, only to be stunned to find that it was none other than Qi Tianxiao. At this moment, there was a faint smile on Qi Tianxiao's face, and he didn't appear to be under any strain at all. While Xiao Jinhan was rooted to the spot in shock, 8 chains appeared around him out of thin air, and they were none other than origin separation law chains. Xiao Jinhan's pupils contracted drastically upon seeing this, and he hurriedly opened his mouth to release a white jade bowl, out of which countless golden and silver runes surged forth to form a golden and silver net of light that enveloped his entire body. However, the 8 black chains were able to pass straight through the golden and silver net without encountering any impediment before vanishing into his body in the blink of an eye. Xiao Jinhan's entire body stiffened as the white light around him quickly faded, and his aura also began to rapidly diminish. Immediately thereafter, Feng Tiandu abruptly appeared behind him in a flash. The 7 golden nails in his body had already been completely removed, and he seemed to have made a full recovery. 8 black chains were currently extending out of the palms of his hands, and the other end of the chains were lost into space. Clearly, he was the one who had unleashed the 8 origin separation law chains that had struck Xiao Jinhan. Xiao Jinhan let loose a furious roar as the white light emanating from his body abruptly brightened, forming a translucent white barrier over his skin. As a result, the rate at which the black chains were piercing into his body was slowed down significantly. Right at this moment, 4 golden chains arrived on the scene amid a flash of golden light before wrapping themselves around Xiao Jinhan, and they were the very same chains that had been used to restrict Feng Tiandu earlier. At this point, the black runes on the golden chains had already completely faded, and they were radiating dazzling golden light, while also giving off formidable restrictive power. The 4 golden chains quickly intertwined with one another to form the same golden cage from before, this time with Xiao Jinhan trapped inside. At the same time, Xianxia and the other 3 Dawnfall sect golden immortals appeared around Xiao Jinhan in a flash before making a rapid series of hand seals. A hint of surprise flashed through Hunli's eyes as he observed the unfolding scene from afar. What are those people doing? Weren't they targeting that old zombie before? Why have they suddenly started attacking the Silverbeard guy now? Jintong asked in a surprised manner. The first part was all an act, and they're actually all plotting against Silverbeard. He's been betrayed by his own allies, Hunli explained as a hint of realization appeared in his eyes. That's kind of sad, isn't it? Jintong mused as her brows furrowed slightly. Let this be a lesson to you, Jintong. Do not trust anyone, and always have your guard up, Hunli said in a solemn voice. Does that mean I can't even trust you? Jintong asked as she blinked in an innocent manner. Hunli was left a little speechless by this question, and he replied in an exasperated manner.
I'm an exception, of course! How dare you betray me! You're all going to pay with your lives!
Xiao Jinhan harumphed coldly as he made a hand seal, and a speck of dazzling white light emerged over his hand with countless white runes flashing inside. Xianxia and the other 3 golden immortals abruptly shuddered slightly, and a layer of white light appeared over their dantians, immediately following which a vast expanse of snowflakes emerged above them. A cruel smile appeared on Xiao Jinhan's face as he prepared to initiate the killing blow, but right at this moment, a burst of black light emerged over the dantians of Qi Tianzhao and the others, and there was a black chain projection in each burst of black light. The chain projections whipped around in a forceful motion, and the white light around their dantians was instantly shattered like eggshells, while the vast expanse of snowflakes above them also faded away. Impossible! Xiao Jinhan exclaimed with a stunned expression. You thought such a crude nascent soul restriction would work on cultivators of our Dawnfall sect. Are you not aware that my origin separation yin devil arts specifically targets the nascent soul? Feng Tiandu scoffed with a cold sneer. Xiao Jinhan's expression darkened slightly, and before he could do anything else, several more figures suddenly appeared around him. They were none other than Taoist Huyan, Yunni, and the 2 Southern Dawn race golden immortals. All of them had fierce killing intent in their eyes, and a crimson flying sword, a blue flying wheel, and 2 golden canes hurtled directly toward Xiao Jinhan at their behest. Xiao Jinhan's expression changed slightly once again upon seeing this, but he remained calm and collected as a ball of white light appeared in front of him. All of the surrounding swirling snowflakes instantly converged to form a semi-transparent wall of white ice, which was giving off a faint glow. Countless white runes were dancing over the wall of ice, while streaks of white light were flashing within it. 4 resounding booms rang out as the 4 immortal treasures, unleashed by Taoist Huyan and the others, struck the wall of ice, and a series of cracks instantly appeared over the wall, following which it was completely shattered. But the 4 immortal treasures were also successfully repelled. Immediately thereafter, Xiao Jinhan began to chant a rapid incantation, and all of the surrounding snowflakes instantly converged toward him, forming a ball of white ice that was over 100 feet in size, encompassing both himself and the golden cage within. The golden cage and the 8 black chains were all frozen in the ball of ice, rendering them completely immobilized. Feng Tiandu's brows furrowed slightly upon seeing this, and he immediately flicked a finger through the air, releasing a black longsword that transformed into a streak of black sword light that was several hundred feet in length before striking the ball of ice with tremendous power. A resounding boom rang out as a gash that was over 100 feet in length was sliced into the ball of ice, but it wasn't very deep. However, the streak of black sword light was also repelled, and it reverted back into a black serpentine flying sword that circled around repeatedly above Feng Tiandu's head. A layer of white ice crystals had appeared over the surface of the sword, and the black sword light emanating from it had also become rather erratic, indicating that its spiritual nature had been harmed. Feng Chandu's expression darkened slightly upon seeing this, and he swept a sleeve through the air to release a burst of black light that vanished into the flying sword. The black flying sword twisted and writhed like a spirit snake, and the white crystals on its surface were quickly shattered, restoring it to its normal state. Meanwhile, all of the golden immortal and true immortals present had converged to surround Qi Tianxiao. Ouyang Kuishan's trio wasn't surprised in the slightest to see this, nor did they display any intention to try and free Xiao Jinhan. Instead, all of them rose up into the air and began inspecting their surroundings as if they were standing on lookout duty. Inside the ball of ice, Xiao Jinhan looked around at all of his assailants with a completely fearless expression as he said, "I'm assuming the vast flow palace is also involved in this, right?" On the way here, Lu Qinghai made up an excuse to divert away all of my subordinates. Now that your plan has succeeded, why don't you get him to come out as well? Everyone faltered slightly upon hearing this. Looks like there's been a misunderstanding, Palace Master Xiao. We actually only hatched this plan on the spur of the moment, and we're not colluding with the Vast Flow Palace. However, it seems like even the heavens are on our side. And Grand Palace Master Luo has certainly saved us a lot of trouble by diverting your subordinates away. Qi Tianxiao chuckled. Xiao Jinhan, ever since you took over the Northern Glacial Immortal Palace, you've been nothing but a menace to our immortal region, lashing out at all of the major sects that possess the power to oppose you for your own selfish gain. You've already brought down the Blaze Dragon Dao, and now you're trying to do the same to our Dawnfall sect. This is the day that you receive your retribution, Feng Qiandu declared with a cold look in his eyes, while everyone else was also glowering intently at Xiao Jinhan, with fierce killing intent. Xiao Jinhan's brows furrowed slightly upon seeing this, and he declared in a cold voice, "I am the master of the Northern Glacial Immortal Palace. If you dare to harm me, the Heavenly Court will strike you all down. None of you will be able to get away from the envoys sent down to avenge me." That's right. We didn't dare to touch you back in the Northern Glacial Immortal region, but here in the infernal Frost Immortal Manor, who's going to find out? Taoist Huyan chuckled coldly.